Classification of cementum. The classification of cementum depends on the presence or absence of cells, or on the origin of collagenous fibers of the matrix, or on the pre-functional and functional. هذا تقسيم للclassification، تقسيم للcementum. Cellular and cellular depend on the presence or absence of the cells. Acellular cementum covers the root adjacent to dentin, whereas acellular is found in the apical area. Cellular apical area and overlying acellular cementum also common in interradicular areas. Cementum is more cellular as the thickness increases in order to maintain viability. The thin cervical layer requires no cells to maintain viability as the fluid part is surface. طبعا هذا رسم تخطيطي. We can note how the main parts of the root is occupied by a cellular cementum or is covered by a cellular cementum. طبعا بهذا السلايد we can see a cellular cementum. And on this slide also we can see cellular cementum. كل هذه النقاط تشبه نقاط هي خلايا cementosite entrapped، هي أصلها cementoblasts entrapped in the cementum matrix، فأصبحت بهذا الاسم cementosite cells. Cementum هنا we can see in this slide upper one the cementosite cells and its lacuna and canaliculus. Also we can see cellular in the lower slide section. Cellular cementum are covered by acellular cementum. هذا السلايد كلش مهم. نشوف بطبقة التومز granular layer of the root dentin, and then the Hopewell Smith layer, and then the cellular cementum, and the last covered area it is a cellular cementum. Cementoblast and cementosite. Cementosite in lacuna and the channels that their process extend are called the canaliculi. Cementoid, it is the young matrix that becomes secondarily mineralized. Cementum is deposited in increments similar to bone and dentin. Here we can see طبعا هنا عندنا intermediate cementum اللي هي الهوبول سميث layer. Are acellular and cellular cementum formed from two different sources. طبعا هذا التيبل بهذا السلايد لازم you must focus on it and the differences between acellular يبين لنا بشكل واضح differences between acellular and cellular cementum. Structural differences between acellular and cellular cementum is related to the faster rate of matrix formation for cellular cementum. يعني بهذا السلايد إنه السيلولر cementum من يتكون بصورة سريعة راح تنحصر خلايا اللي مكونة اللي هي السيمنتوبلاست بداخله، وبذاك الوقت نسميها cementosite cells. فإذا اللي يتكون بصورة سريعة الفاستر ريت هو السيلولر cementum. Classification based on the nature or origin of collagen fibers. كملنا الكلاسيفيكيشن اللي يعتمد على presence or absence of cells. Here we come to the classification that depend on the origin of the fibers of cementum. If it is extrinsic fibers or intrinsic fibers. Extrinsic fibers if derived from the periodontal ligaments fibers, I mean from the fibroblast cell. Fibroblast cells هي اللي تكونها. And intrinsic fibers if derived from cementoblasts run parallel to the root surface and at right angle to the extrinsic fibers. But sometimes we have area where both extrinsic and intrinsic fibers is called mixed fiber cementum. Combined classification. الcombination راح يصير between the presence and absence of cells and with the origin of the fibers of cementum. We have acellular extrinsic fiber cementum اللي نرمز له AEFC located in the cervical half of the root and constitute the bulk of the cementum. The collagen fibers derived from Sharpie's fibers and ground substance from cementoblasts covers 2/3 of the root corresponding with the distribution of primary acellular cementum, principal tissue of attachment. Function in anchoring of tooth. Fibers are well mineralized. This is acellular extrinsic fiber cementum in these two slides. And also acellular extrinsic fibers in the upper one and the lower photo of electronic microscopical sections. طبعا ويبين لنا Sharpie's fibers اللي جاية هي من المصدر مالتها extrinsic fibers من periodontal ligaments من الفايبروبلاست I mean. Primary acellular intrinsic fibers. عندنا acellular intrinsic fibers. Intrinsic mean from the cells طبعا of the cementoblast cells. If first cementum, primary cementum, acellular before periodontal ligaments forms, cementoblast and 15 to 20 micrometer. Cellular intrinsic fiber cementum طبعا هذا the second main cementum second main cementum of the combined classification اللي يعتمد على التقسيم اللي خلطنا بين presence or absence of cells and the origin of fibers. Start forming after the tooth is inclusion. Incorporated cells with majority of fibers organized parallel to the root surface. Cells have phenotype of bone-forming cells, very minor role in attachment, virtually absent in incisors and canine teeth, corresponds to cellular cementum as seen in middle to apical third and interradicular area, adaptation and repair. Secondary cellular mixed fiber cementum, from its name mixed, I mean both intrinsic and extrinsic fibers, bulk of secondary cementum, cementoside, laminated structure, cementoid on the surface, apical portion and interradicular, adaptation. Intrinsic fibers are uniformly mineralized, but the extrinsic fibers are variably mineralized with some central unmineralized. Zone of transition بالupper slice section. طبعا نشوف هنا تعدد الطبقات للسيمنتم. In same area we can see يعني area of the root طبعا cellular, cellular, acellular, cellular, acellular and the cellular cementum. شوفوا شلون تعداد الطبقات كليتها موجود. نفسها نشوف بنفس المنطقة نشوف السيلولر والاسيلولر. Acellular afibrillar cementum, from its name, no cell, no fibrils, limited to enamel surface, close to the cemento-enamel junction, and lack collagen, so plays no role in attachment, developmental anomaly versus true products of epithelial cells. Distribution of cementum on the root, طبعا هذا كلش مهم عندنا هنا. بالcervical enamel, in the cervical enamel we can note the acellular afibrillar. Cervix to practically the whole root, acellular extrinsic. And the apical third on the furcation area we have cellular cementum. Cemento-enamel junction, نقطة التقاء, the OMG rule نسميها. We called it the OMG rule. Cementum overlaps enamel 60%, وطبعا هذه نعمة من رب العالمين. Cementum just meet enamel 30%. Small gap between cementum and enamel 10%. ليش قلنا إنه 60% نعمة؟ لأنه هنا ما راح يصير عندنا sensitivity، لكن لو كانت هاي small gap والexposed dentin area كلش نسبتها كبيرة كان كل الأسنان صارت بيها sensitivity. هذا رسم تخطيطي يبين لنا عندنا الانامل overlap cementum 60% edge to edge أو نقطة فقط التقاء 30% and enamel and cementum don't. وطبعا هنا عندنا هذا بالجراوند سكشن السيمنتم overlap enamel 60% و edge to edge هنا عندنا اللي حوالي 30% والجاب اللي يصير بالدنتين I mean exposed dentin area اللي يصير عندنا النسبة 10%. Aging of cementum, what we have? We will have طبعا irregularity of cementum. What is the cause? Calcification of ligament fiber bundles where they are attached to the cementum. ويصير عندنا continuous deposition. And also we have cementum resorption sometimes and the reversal line are formed. And resorption, the last point, fourth point, resorption of root dentin occurs with aging which is covered by cemental repair. Cementicles. طبعا cementicles تذكرنا انتم كان تذكرون you can memorize what mean the denticle. denticle هي البالبال stone لكن cementicle هي cemental stone نقدر نسميها. cementicles هي عبارة عن calcified ovoid and round nodule found in the periodontal ligaments, single or multiple near the cemental surface, free in ligament attached or embedded. اما تكون عندنا free أو attached or embedded. وطبعا هي عبارة إنه شلون تتكون epithelial cells that are composed of calcium phosphate and collagen to the same amount as cementum. نفس محتويات السيمنتم. طبعا إذا صارت عندنا embedded بهذا بالlower slice section we can note here the embedded the cementicle embedded where? Embedded in the cementum. Okay, embedded in the cementum. Cemental repair, protective function of cementoblasts after resorption of root dentin or cementum. Resorption of dentin and cementum due to trauma, traumatic occlusion, tooth movement, hypereruption, loss of cementum accompanied by loss of attachment. Following reparative cementum deposition, attachment is restored. بهذا السلايد on your right side طبعا نشوف هنا الcemental repair اللي صاير عندنا. هذا النيو cementum باللونه طبعا pale pink. Some clinical correlation you must know. Cellular cementum is similar to bone. ما قلنا بنقاط إنه يشبه البون but has no nerves, therefore it is non-sensitive to pain. Scaling produces no pain, but if cementum is removed طبعا يصير عندنا exposure بالdentin. Dentin is exposed, causes sensitivity. Cementum is resistant to resorption, especially in younger patients. Thus orthodontic tooth movement causes alveolar bone resorption and not tooth root loss. اوكي راح يصير عندنا deposition opposition بالبون نفسه والسمنتم يبقى صحيح لان هو السمنتم resistance to resorption. Thank you so much for your listening.